Zamfara State new Commissioner of Police begins familiarization visit to Anka and Buki local government areas of the state. Adamawa State Commissioner scales court fence to evade detention. Court remands 2 teachers for the filing 5-year-old pupil in Lagos State. On business, NLC dares federal government over electricity tariff hike. On sports, Samuel Chukwueze backs youngest Villarreal centurion honors. And on the international scene, Joe Biden brands capital violence insurrection and demands Trump call off siege. Hello and welcome to Svtv News. I am Musa Joy Onyoza. In its determination to ensure robust synergy with critical stakeholders, especially traditional rulers, the new Zamfara State Commissioner of Police CP Abatuyaro and the Commissioner for Security and Home Affairs Alhaji Abubakar Mohammed Dauran commenced familiarization tour to divisions and formations as well as courtesy call on Royal Highnesses in Anka and Buki local government areas of the state. During the visit, the Commissioner of Police addressed officers and men of the 2 divisions, including the newly recruited and trained special constables. He also held an interactive session with Fulani leaders where he appealed for their support and cooperation in advancing the ongoing peace process in the state. The Commissioner for Security and Home Affairs Alhaji Mohammed Abubakar Dauran in his remarks called on the Fulani and Hausa community leaders of the 2 local government areas as well as the security agencies to work in support of the state government effort to achieve lasting peace in the state. He further assured that the government is doing its best to improve their welfare. In their responses, the emirs of Anka and Buki pledged their support to state government and Commissioner of Police towards the success of the ongoing peace and reconciliation initiative. The Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Mr. Sanusi Farouk, scaled the court fence to escape detention. The Commissioner and 2 others were charged with criminal conspiracy and breach of trust involving 1.728 million naira. The 2 are Marcos Yara, a director in the Ministry of Women Affairs, and Leah Ayuba, a director in the Ministry of Youth and Sports. In October 2020, Mr. Farouk allegedly collected a loan of 1 million naira from the staff compulsory savings under the Office of the Secretary to the state government and promised to repay in December 2020 with 20% interest, totaling 1.728 million naira. The 2 directors now in custody stood as guarantors to the fleeing commissioner in the loan agreement. The accused had pleaded guilty and begged the court for leniency to enable them pay the money. However, the trial judge, Nuhu Garta, in his ruling, granted the 3 accused persons bail with stringent conditions, asking them to produce a serving commissioner, permanent secretary, or director with a sum of 1 million naira as surety. After the ruling, the commissioner, who pretended to be pressed, scaled the court fence and fled the premises. Consequently, the judge ordered that the other 2 defendants be remanded in Yola Correctional Facility and adjourned the case till January 13, 2021. The former governor of Zamfara State, Alhaji Abdulaziz Yari Abubakar, has paid a condolence visit to Senator Aliu Magatakarda Wamako over the death of his nephew, Dr. Bello Magatakarda Wamako. Alhaji Yari was accompanied by some elder statesmen from Zamfara State, who include Senator Tijani Yahya Kaura, Ambassador Abubakar Husseini Moriki, and Alhaji Muhammad Sani Takori. Others were Engineer Ibrahim Shehu Bukuye Guso, Honorable Sani Garoba Guso, Alhaji Mukhtar Muhammad Luga, and Engineer Abdullahi Abdulkarim Safi. The rest were Alhaji Sani Gwamna Mayanchi, and Malam Abdulmalik Yahuza Kusol. An Ikeja magistrate court on Wednesday ordered that two teachers, Samson Banjoko and Olajide Babatunde, be remanded in Kirikiri Correctional Center for allegedly defiling a 5-year-old girl. Magistrate M.O. Tenimola gave the order following a motion moved by the prosecutor, ASP Victor Eroada, that the matter be referred to the Director of the Public Prosecutions for advice. The magistrate, who did not take the plea of the defendant, also directed the prosecutor to duplicate the file and send to the DPP for advice. Earlier, the prosecutor told the court that Bajonkro, who resides in Olowara, Begau, while Babatunde lives in Magodo Phase 2, both in Lagos State, was being tried for defilement. He said that the duo committed the offense on December 15th in the school premises located at Magodo Phase 1, Isere, Lagos. The prosecutor said that the defendant lured the girl into an empty classroom and defied her. The offense, he said, contravened the provisions of Section 137 of the Criminal Laws of Lagos State 2015, which stipulate life imprisonment on conviction. The Nigerian Customs Service says it generated a sum of 1.5 trillion naira for the year 2020. The Customs Public Relations Officer, Mr. Joseph Atta, made this known in a statement in Abuja on Wednesday. Mr. Atta said the amount realized was over the target of 1.3 trillion naira and also more than the sum of 1.3 trillion naira generated in 2019 in spite of the COVID-19 pandemic. The spokesman quoted the Controller General of Customs, retired Kader Hamid Ali, as saying that the feat was as a result of the resolute pursuit of what was right and willingness to adapt to changes brought about by global health challenges occasioned by COVID-19. Colonel Ali said the service revenue generation profile had continued to be on the rise annually as the ongoing reforms in the service insisted on the strategic deployment of officers strictly using the standard operating procedure. The Customs Service insists on strict enforcement of extant guidelines by the Tariff and Trade Department and automation of the customs process, thereby eliminating vices associated with the manual process. Cardone State Agro-Pastoral Development Project has awarded a contract worth 314.5 million naira for the repair of Watari irrigation scheme. The irrigation scheme is situated downstream of the Watari Dam in Bagwai local government area of Cardone State and has potential for cultivation of vast hectares of rice, several irrigated crops and vegetables. A statement issued by the project communication specialist Amin K. Yasser said the dam was constructed over 40 years ago and its auxiliary infrastructure has not undergone repairs since then, despite its huge potential for agriculture and rural development. During the official handing over of the project site to the contractor Hajjite Nigeria Limited, the state project coordinator Malam Ibrahim Garba Muhammad explained that the scope of work includes the repair of gully erosion on the dam's embankment, repairs and deslating of main canal and drainages, as well as deslating and repairs of the night storage reservoir. The Atiku Support Organization has denied a report of the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar receiving Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine in the United Arab Emirates. It could be recalled that a member of the Atiku Abubakar presidential media team, Abdurrashid Uba Sharada, had on Tuesday posted a tweet on his verified handle with pictures of Atiku Abubakar receiving the vaccine in UAE. However, a disclaimer issued by Mohammed Sanusi Hassan, Atiku Support Organization Deputy Director, news media said the pictures were taken randomly at a hospital and not a vaccine jab. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Let me quickly take you to our business desk for the business update.
Hello, welcome to Business Updates. The Nigerian Labour Congress has threatened that only an immediate reversal of the electricity tariff increase can save the country from imminent shutdown. It's lamented that Nigerians have built enough under the present administration and been failed by the federal government to promptly step back on the hike will attract unprecedented industrial resistance by Nigerian workers. The NIC President, Comrade Ayuba Wabba, said in a statement that the Congress considered the tariff hike as negating the agreement reached between the organized labor and government in September 2020. He also warned that the current action by government will further impair the local economy, which will lead to millions of job losses by Nigerian workers and trigger widespread social discontentment within the polity. The statement said the increase will be the umpteenth time in a space of less than a year. The Nigerian Labour Congress vehemently condemns this attempt to start the year 2021 for Nigerians on the grinding stone. Meanwhile, the Naira appreciated against the dollar at the investors and exporters windows on Tuesday, closing at 333 Naira 83 kobo to a dollar. On January 5, 2020, the exchange rate between the Naira and dollar closed at 393.83 kobo to a dollar, the second trading day of 2021 at the investors and exporters NAFEX window where the forex is traded officially. Nairametrics understands that intervention by the Central Bank of Nigeria has forced prices further down on Tuesday, sustaining the appreciation recorded on the last day of trading after sharp depreciation recorded on the last trading day of 2020. Reporters said that the latest round of adjustment at the investors and exporters window is temporary as the rate would fall back between 400 to a dollar. However, at the black market where forex traded unofficially, the exchange rate continued to remain stable at 470 naira to a dollar on Tuesday. The exchange rate disparity between the parallel market and official market widened again to 76 naira 17 kobo, representing a 16% devaluation differential. And that's all on the business updates. I'm Foze Ibrahim. Do have a nice day.
And on the international scene, President-elect Joe Biden on Wednesday denounced the storming of the U.S. Capitol as an insurrection and demanded President Donald Trump to go on television to call an end to the violent siege. The veteran Democrat said in Wilmington after hundreds of Trump supporters protesting his election defeat swarmed the Capitol building and put the nation's lawmakers at risk. Mr. Biden called on President Trump to end the violence as his supporters stormed the Capitol, smashing windows, occupying offices and the floor of the United States Senate, threatening the safety of duly elected officials, adding that it's not a protest but insurrection. Earlier, Donald Trump's supporters stormed a session of Congress held to certify Joe Biden's win as a desperate last-minute bid by the president to overturn his election loss sparked chaos and accusation of a coup attempt. Hours after an extraordinary rally by Trump challenging his defeat, his flag-waving backers broke down barricades outside the Capitol and stormed inside, with a special session going into an emergency recess as protesters entered the chamber. That's all on the international scene. Let me quickly take you to our sport desk for the sport update.
Hello, welcome to Stand Up Voice Television Sports Room. I'm Abu Sufyan Abubakar, and as usual, I bring the sports updates. Nigeria international Samuel Chukwueze has become Villarreal's youngest ever footballer to feature in 100 games for the Spanish club. He reached this hallmark while featuring in the Yellow Submarines' 4-1 defeat to Zamfara in Tuesday's Copa del Rey encounter. At 21 years old, the Nigerian stepped out onto the pitch in Villarreal's shirt for the 100th appearance in the record time. Chukwueze's feat successfully eclipsed the record set by Argentina international and AC Milan's current centre-back Matteo Musacchio, who reached the centenarian. To mark his latest achievement, the jet-hailed Super Eagles forward bagged an assist as Unai Emery's men sent fourth-tier Spanish side packing from the competition, with Carlos Bacca, Yeremy Pino, Carlos Rama, Fanino and Daniel Raba finding the net in the game. And that's all we have on sports today. Back to the newsroom.
And that's all on today's news. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Zamfara State new Commissioner of Police begins familiarization visit to Anka and Bukuyu local government areas of the state. Adamawa State Commissioner scales court fence to evade detention. Court remands 2 teachers for the filing 5-year-old pupil in Lagos State. On business, NLC dares federal government over electricity tariff hike. On sports, Samuel Chukwueze backs youngest Villarreal Centurion honors. And on the international news, Joe Biden brands Capitol violence insurrection and demands Trump call off siege. That's the news on behalf of the production crew and head of news in Current Affairs Department, Alhaji Ibrahim Garbatino. I still remain Musa Joy Onyoza. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.